Good morning. My name is David. I am a construction field manager here in South Carolina. I'm making this video for you because you can't be here for our pre-drywall orientation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some standard features that we do in our homes that put us above some of the other standards in the industry. And normally I would point these out to you in person and we can discuss them, but since you can't be here, I'm just going to grab the video camera and I'm going to go around and I'm just going to show you just a real quick, no high production video presentation on some of the things that we do so that you can be proud of your home. You can see what happens underneath the drywall, and it'll give you a comfort level that you got a good quality product that you're getting. Okay, so what I did here is I printed out just a quick review of some of the items so I don't forget anything. I'm not going to talk about all different aspects. I'm going to hit a couple bulleted items that I think are important for you to see. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. So I'm going to grab the camera, I'm going to walk over and show you some stuff and talk about each item just a little bit. Okay, so let's go. Let me just grab the camera, take it off this tripod here. Okay, so let's just take a look around here. One of the first things I want to show you is some of the engineering that goes into your home. If you look at this window here on the front of the house, pretty typical double window setup. Okay, some of the engineering that we do is we do this thing called portal framing. Our engineers decide that with the wind loads we have here in South Carolina along the coast, that we have to put this portal framing detail in, which is this huge header. It's an LVL header, goes across the top of those two windows, and if you notice, it goes all the way to the corner of the room, the corner of the building, on both ends. It doesn't stop just at the corner of the window like most. And another thing you'll notice is the strapping, the metal strapping that attaches it to the top of the wall and then also to the studs below. Okay, and then you'll notice as well there's some strapping here that ties it up to a very significant truss as well. So everything is all tied together. You've got truss tied to the top of the wall, wall tied to the header, okay, header tied to the studs below. And then if we follow this all the way down, you'll see if I move some of this insulation, you'll see that some strapping right there that holds the wall to the concrete. There's also a large strap on the outside of the building. I'm gonna go right out the wall here. There's also a huge strap right here that you can see right there. Big strap goes down in the concrete, comes up the wall all the way here, up underneath this building paper. Okay, so really advanced techniques that we use there to hold your house down, and there's examples of that type of thing all throughout the house. Okay, another thing I want to show you as far as like energy conservation, the energy packages that we use, all right, is you'll notice that not only do we have this insulation in the walls, okay, which is pretty typical, everybody does that. We use a product called EcoBat. It's really good stuff. Real superior product here. But what I wanted to show you is this air sealing. If you notice in between every little stud there, you'll see this styrofoam right here, all the way down, everywhere. Okay, we seal that up so that there is no air infiltration anywhere in your home. All right, you'll see it's along the top of the walls, okay, in the corners, top of the walls, down the studs. All right, it is just everywhere. All right, and if we were to move some of this stuff here, you would see it also, see in here, We do it everywhere. So even though that's getting covered up by the insulation, let me put that back in for you. So even though that's getting covered up by the insulation, you see that it was all foam tight. Okay. The other thing you'll notice too is you'll see in the windows here, there's another foam. Now this foam is like a white color. That just, the manufacturer just makes it that color rather than the orange foam, which is more of a fire retardant foam. The white foam is more of a flexible foam so that it doesn't bulge in the window frames. But you can see that that is, you know, sealed all the way around all the windows. Okay, all the way around. So again, you got a lot of air sealing there going on, and just gives you for a nice tight energy efficient home. Okay, even on our interior walls right here, you'll notice that we've got this foam in the anywhere where we drilled a hole for any type of penetration, whether it's a pipe, a wire, even if they just drilled something by mistake like this one here and they didn't use it. Okay, they fill all those in everywhere. Alright, and the reason why they're doing that is you know, just in case, let's say for example, you know, you had some type of malfunction with an electronics and you had some type of spark or some smoldering wires or something happening inside like a junction box like this. Well, this wall cavity right here, you want it to be completely encapsulated with like sheetrock. You don't want any fresh air to be able to infiltrate that wall cavity. So we seal off any holes or penetrations inside that. So once the sheetrock on both sides of this is pretty much just a you know, an empty bubble, and so if anything's smoldering inside of it, it has a limited supply of oxygen. So it gives your smoke alarms and such time to go off to warn you that there's something going on there. Whereas if that was open, if these were not sealed, you'd have a fresh supply of oxygen, and that smoldering could possibly turn into a flame pretty quickly, and reduce your time to react to that. So that's why we do that. Another thing that we do in air sealing, and this is more along the energy code part of it, is along where the concrete meets the walls. We seal in between that. The gray that you see right there is actually a foam on like a roll. We call it sill sealer, and that goes underneath the 2x4, and then another guy comes in and does that orange foam up against it, so it's double sealed, so that you don't get any type of moisture or air infiltration or anything coming up underneath the walls. Alright, so that's another big part of it. So let me show you something that we do as far as like water infiltration. First I want to show you inside of a shower stall. We offer some tile showers here, and if you were to get that option, this is a pretty typical example of what it would look like before we cover it up. So we got the fiberglass pan, plastic pan there. Okay, so that's a finished product. Obviously we'll clean it up real nice. But what we do, if you notice, the plumbers, they install this. This is actually a rubber tape. It's very sticky, very, very, very sticky. There's the back side there. And you can see what they do is they overlap the flange on the tub. See that? They overlap it completely, like that. Alright, so let me neaten that up for you. So they overlap that so that if any moisture was to get behind the wallboard, it would come down over this tape, over the flange, and then run right back down into the tub. Okay? Like that. Alright, and that theory, that kind of shingle effect, we say for like a roofing shingle effect, so that everyone overlaps and in opposite the direction of gravity so that nothing gets up behind it. You'll see that that goes all the way around the whole shower pan. Okay, and then you'll see we even do it up the corners, completely up the corner of the shower, so that if any water was to get in a crack in the inside corner, it would come in, hit that tape, and then go down, go right over, right into the pan, just like that. Where we have a shower seat, okay, same theory. You know, anything was to get behind the wall onto the seat, it would come underneath and then come right down. This is one continuous piece of rubber right here. It comes down, and you see it overlaps the tape. And the tape is behind it. Then it goes in right into the shower like that and drains. Okay, and they get that all up in the corners and everything. So once they get the wallboard on here, what they do too is they also waterproof the wallboard with a product called Red Guard. It's basically a rubber membrane. You know, think of a really thick paint that has a rubber quality to it, and they roll that on with a big roller, and it has this pink color. It's a little bit funny looking, but what it does is it waterproofs the wallboard, and then basically you don't even need tile. Your shower could run with that wallboard and that Red Guard rubber membrane product on it, and all the water would find its way into the drain and not into your wall cavity or into your studs. So it's a very, very superior system that we do there. Okay. So while we're here, we're looking at plumbing and talking about these showers. Another thing I'll point out to you is how we use this PEX piping. Okay, you can see a shower valve here, and you get a hot water line coming in there on the left and a cold water coming in on the right here. This is a very superior product that we use. Okay, one of the things that you'll notice is, you know, on the left there you see that we have an elbow that goes right here, because there's a framing member here, so this pipe cannot just completely go through. So they put an elbow on it, and it goes back up to the attic, and then you see how it sweeps, and it goes around to the left there and goes off to another area. And then same thing with the cold. You see how the cold comes down, and it sweeps around, and it just makes a curve like that. Now some people would think that the blue line is installed incorrectly because there's no elbow fitting. Well, that's actually not the case. We try to install our piping with the least amount of fittings as possible. So although this looks kind of like the guy got lazy and just bent the pipe way up and around, and it's not neat and it's not pretty, well, as far as function goes, this is the best way to do it because there's no fitting there. So the least amount of fittings means the least possibilities for a potential leak. Okay, so you'll notice that all throughout your plumbing. Look at this. This is for a vanity, hot and cold, comes up, makes a gentle sweep, comes around. Okay, now they do have to tee it off here to go down to another sink and then back up to other areas. But you'll notice that it just sweeps around. So he saved 2 fittings here, 2 fittings there, and then they ultimately end up saving, you know, probably 100 different potentials for leaks. So that is a superior situation there. So let's see what else we got on our list here. Oh, nail guards. All right, nail guards are pretty typical in the industry, but I like to point them out. See how they put this metal plate on the stud to protect those water pipes? Okay, anywhere where we have like less than an inch of wood between the pipe or a wire or something, they're going to put one of these metal nail guards on there so that if someone puts a nail in the sheetrock or a screw in the sheetrock, or you're hanging a picture or whatever the situation is, that you don't pierce that pipe or that wire. Okay, so while we're inside here, I want to show you just a brief overview of the truss systems. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit tricky to view because I would need a super wide angle camera, which I don't have, but your roof system is all made of trusses, and these trusses are all engineered very specifically. you'll see that there's all kinds of braces and diagonal pieces of wood, all kinds of stuff going on there. And although it looks like a complete mess, it's actually very specifically engineered to keep your house here, you know, in case we have a huge wind storm, hurricane, something like that. So the bracing is very specific according to the engineers, and just makes your house super strong. All right. So they're all tied to each other. Everything's all connected to each other. Like I was showing you before, you know, trusses are connected to, you know, like right here, you see the truss in the corner there. There's a metal strap, connects it to the top of the wall, comes down, connects it to this header over this window. It comes over to the end of the header. There's another metal strap, comes down, all the way down, and then you see right here, we've got this big anchor that goes right down into the concrete. Okay, so you can see that that's just everywhere, all throughout the home. They're all over the place. You don't really notice them until somebody points them out to you. But it's very, very specific. Here's another portal framing detail in the back of a sunroom. Okay, more just metal everywhere. Sometimes I think there's more metal in these homes than there is wood, but they're very specifically engineered. So, all right, while we're looking up, check out the ductwork. The ductwork we do here is all insulated, okay? It's all strapped and supported, all right? Even all of our connections, like right there, you see what looks like a casting, almost like an old-fashioned cast on somebody's foot? That's actually called mastic. And mastic is a rubber membrane. They put it on with a brush. So any of our joints in the ductwork has to be taped, and mastic has to be applied. All right. Even when we come down to where a register will be, you know, one of the grills. All right. If you look up on top, that register is all wrapped in mastic, all the way around that white rubber membrane you see there. So there's no air loss in the ductwork. So there's none of your cold air is going to go into that hot attic, and none of your cold attic is going to go into the hot ductwork in the wintertime. All right, it's all sealed up nice, all the way around. Okay, and I'll just pan on over to another section where they get the main trunk line. You can see every connection is all sealed. These guys did a really good job. Okay, so lots of stuff going on there. You can see some plumbing pipes here come up. They're all insulated. See the insulation wrapped around there? And then as they come through the wall into the heated space, they just come down and they come right into a plumbing location. This is for a wet bar area in the kitchen. All right, so let's review here. Let's talk a little bit more about water infiltration on the outside of the home. I want to show you something that we do that most people are not doing. It's very superior. Okay, the siding is not installed yet on this home. We use a Typar building paper. Again, a superior product. Encourage you to check it out online. It's basically, it has kind of a rubber membrane quality to it, but it lets moisture pass only in one direction. So it would let moisture out if anything got behind it, but won't let it in. So very good products. And the other thing you'll notice too is when we attach it, you know, we attach it with these buttons, basically a staple through a rubber cap. All right, so that staple is completely waterproof, that thing. All right, so even if you squirted water at that, it can't get in there. It's a very, very good product. So what I want to show you is anytime we have any type of penetration in the side of the house, like this for example is an electrical outlet. Okay, this cap opens up and there'll be an electrical outlet in there later. Okay, but what I want to show you is how we flash around this so that no water can get inside the home or to your lumber or anything. So if you notice, again, we have that shingle effect, kind of like we did in the shower. We use this rubber tape. Okay, it's a very similar product to, I can't even peel it back here, it's so sticky. There we go. You can see it's just so sticky. So you can see that product there, and you'll see that everything goes up, and then another piece overlaps that, and then another piece overlaps that, and another piece overlaps that, and then you get your paper. So even if we squirted a garden hose on this right now, the water would just come completely over and down. It wouldn't even get anything wet, and you don't even have siding on the house yet. And later on we'll put the cement siding on, the fiber cement siding, okay, which also doesn't rot or anything. You might need to repaint it every 5 or 10 years, but you just got a superior product. So we do this detail, and we're inside of a porch right now. We're inside of a covered porch. I probably will never even see direct rain, you know. So, and we still flash it that way. It's just what we do, and we do it everywhere. Okay. Front door here, same thing. It's under a porch, but we still treat this like it was right out in the open. And you see, we treat it the same way. We've got this tape here. Okay, this is a PVC trim piece. It's actually a synthetic, like a plastic, okay, like vinyl. And it has a rubber flange on it. I mean, it has a plastic flange on it right here that goes underneath this tape. And then the tape comes all the way down to the concrete there. It goes all the way up. And again, we get the same type of detail that we had on that outlet, where water, if it was to come over and over, okay, nothing can get behind this. It's completely waterproof. All right, just a really good job. These guys did a real nice, neat job here. Very nice all the way around. Okay, even when we have a pipe penetration coming out, like for example a garden hose like we have right here, okay, let's take a closer look at that. So what we got here, this is a pretty interesting product that we got here. All right, so you see we have this thing called Fortiseal. It's actually a piece of rubber. It's not tape, it's just rubber, and it has a hole punched in it, and that hole, look how tight that is around that pipe right there. Okay, there's no silicone there, nothing. That is just the rubber squeezed around it almost like a balloon, completely tight. And then of course we get the same detail with the tape over that, overlapping everything. You could shoot this with the garden hose right here, and it would not get any water inside the home. Just a really, really nice job. Okay, so let's go back inside and see if there's anything else to review. I mean, there's literally thousands of items I could review, but those are some of the highlights that I wanted to go over with you. Okay. The point of the video here is I'm just going to put this back on the tripod and wrap things up with you. But the point that I wanted to show you is just some of the many features that are included in your house that most people don't even realize that we do. That's probably half of what I normally would show somebody when we meet in a home at a pre-drywall orientation. Obviously we go over things like options and stuff like that as well for their specific home. But I like to point out those standard things just because you know, they're just fantastic. They're just make the home such a better quality than even what we were building 5 years ago. And 10 years ago you can't even compare. So you should feel comforted that, you know, we've got these great features behind the walls, and it should make you feel proud of the quality of your home, and we're certainly proud of it. So if you have any questions or you want any more information, you know, send me an email or give me a call, and I'd be happy to go over anything else with you. I mean, we've got a book like this thick on all these details that you know, I'm happy to share with you if you want to see them. Okay, so that's it for this short presentation. Again, this is only about half of what I normally would show you, but I want to keep the video short so that I don't lose your interest. And again, get in touch with me if you need any more information. Okay, so have a good day.